All right. So, welcome. This is the monthly Monday morning meditation. Energy update for the new Earth as well. And we do this every first Monday of the month. I'm here. I'm Jason Donaldson, and I'm here with two other amazing beings that made it on the live call, which I'm super excited about. Um, it's an interesting shift in things for me in my life and what's happening. Um, I may actually start, well, I'm going to start seeing clients again in a therapeutic setting, working on getting my licensure. I already have my master's in marriage and family therapy. When I'm gonna start working on getting my license again, I'd started that previously, but it just wasn't the vibe I was in at the time. And then I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'll still be doing these calls, and I'll still be doing energy work and breath ceremonies and tarot card reading. But I'm feeling guided to step back into that system, and I feel there's a lot I could help people with and bring this galactic, energetic, spiritual perspective to things for people that are hungry for it and aren't fully aware of what it is yet. So this will be interesting to dive back into that, and I'm excited to bring more of the psychology principles and perspectives too, in addition to like the galactic perspective and the spiritual perspectives on things, because a lot of it was heavily borrowed from the mystics and the previous, Taoist teachings and Buddhist teachings, and the mindfulness that's coming into the therapeutic world, and even shamanic drumming and all these things that are really helping people in bigger ways. And I would love to really take people out into nature as well. And that's what I do currently with my mentoring programs, and then working with people in a therapeutic sense too, working with nature, because she's super powerful and helpful. And today we're tuning into the new Earth energy. And, you know, it's interesting to think about the new Earth. And I know in my own life, when things go a certain way that I hadn't expected, or I'd hoped for something to work out and it didn't, then I was like, am I even on this new Earth timeline? And who am I even to talk about this new Earth timeline? Because the things I thought was going to happen, at least in my own life, aren't playing out. And there's a lot of like upheaval and chaos in the world. And we've known that's going to happen, and that's going to continue to happen as we're making the shift, because it has to. There's old systems and structures have to go through their collapse or their transformation, however that looks. And I'm still seeing that, and I haven't really tuned in a whole lot to that. And so that'll be interesting as I do that today, as I tune in what's going to come through and what messages for the collective that I pick up on. And I'm really personally tracking more the moon phases, like keeping it simple, because in the past, the astrology, the 2 or 3 years prior to this, there were events and things, and it was interesting. And now it's like there's so much happening on any given day. There's so many different amazing, aspects and conjunctions and shifts, and like all the planets changing into new signs and then going back. And I mean, even today, you have, I think, Saturn retrograded back into Pisces, and so you don't have that Mars energy anymore. But then if you talk to a sidereal astrologer, they'd be like, well, it's still in this sign, it never changed. And so I like the moon, because you walk out at night and you can see the moon, you can see the sun. And I working with that energy, and that's what medicine people have done for a long time, the shamans and the witches and everything else, is what do I see in my environment, what's directly impacting me. And we know with the moon, it's working with the emotions. I mean, it literally controls the tides, so the moon is going to influence how we feel. And we can still bring in the astrology with what sign it's in. So I started doing breath work ceremonies online for the new moon, and I'm going to keep doing that, because it feels like a great way to honor like a energetic reset, and then play with whatever energies and themes come through, and a container that is designed to really help us process and work with the emotion that comes up, and also the manifestation potential as we come together as a collective, and then breathe and really embody that heart breath connection. And that's what I was feeling to talk about today is I'm actually going to be doing a talk this weekend in Phoenix, Arizona at a Embracing Your Journey Expo. And I'm excited to be like one of the featured speakers. Like they only pick so many and I was picked. So I'm really stoked on that. And this will be the second time I'm doing it. And I'm talking about the new earth and really, the heart coherence with that, like our heart connection with everything. And this is something I've worked on my whole life and still have a hard time with it. Like I'm a 29-degree Capricorn and I like to plan and I like to strategize and I don't like to feel too much. And yet I feel and I start thinking about what I'm feeling. So I'm going to work with the meditation today with how we can really deeply connect to the heart in a very simple way. And as we connect with the heart, I know in my 20s when I tried to do that, there was a lot of emotion that came up. There was almost like there was the shell around it that from all the pain and all the things I tried to stuff down or isolate myself from, like intentionally sabotaging relationships when I was younger. Because not even, it was unconscious. And then later I was conscious of it and still would do it. And to this day, it's still like a challenge to be in a relationship and to let somebody love you and to let yourself love someone else. And it gets to a point where it gets scary and there's like a shutting down kind of thing happens. And so there's often like a casing around the heart and there's ways we can work with that. And I've been working with it. And my day is totally different when I remember to tune into the heart energy versus coming up with a plan and a strategy. And even when somebody's talking to me right in front of me, if I'm in my head, it's not an organic kind of exchange. So a lot of people that are neurodiverse, which really means very often you have like psychic abilities and different perspectives and ability to focus and even bilocate and other gifts and abilities that's been labeled as like ADHD, dyslexia. Dyslexics can actually see things from multiple perspectives. That's why it's so confusing because you're seeing the letter from every different direction. It's like, what was the direction again? And then the ADHD is like this spiral mind. So you're pulling things from all different places and you're noticing everything. And it's easy to get kind of distracted. But in my case, I notice I always kind of come back to it, but it's a spiral and it meanders and it drives more linear thinking people crazy. And there's also a tendency to get distracted. But what happens with ADHD is there's also this like ability to hyper focus. So when somebody's interested, like when a kid's interested in something in school or whatever, or video games is a perfect example, they can become masters at this. They can become like so like present in the moment. They can just do these miraculous things. And with even autism too, is this wiring of the brain where you're seeing in different perspectives and you're thinking differently about things, and it creates all kinds of amazing technology and advancements. And there's been people with that diagnosis that have really revolutionized certain industries. Like there's one woman in the farming industry, she revolutionized the way how they work with the cattle. And there's another woman that created a behavioral modification, like DBT, dialectical behavioral analysis, to help people with bipolar disorder or borderline. Actually, I think it was borderline. And so there's all this amazing ability we have. And she was actually borderline, not autistic, but it all kinds of blends together. And it's really just acknowledging that neurodiversity and the wiring of our brains that we have. So that's what I'm feeling to share. I never really know until I start doing this opening monologue what's coming through as far as just off the cuff. But now I want to tune in and see what the cards have to say, tune into the energy. Just tune in right now before I pull any cards. I want to know energy for the collective for the month of September. And I wrote about this a little bit in my newsletter. I'll see what comes through in this moment, asking my guides, my higher self, for an image, word, description. It's interesting what comes through is like pain and suffering. And then I heard like the end of pain and suffering. And we just tune in a little more, and they're showing like feathers, and they're showing like that blue avian energy of, you know, these galactic blue avian beings. And they're inviting like that, and this is like the galactic perspective, they're rising above the pain and suffering. So what we see in our communities or around us or even within us, like rising above that, not condemning it or not wallowing in it, but like really holding that perspective of seeing it for what it is. And this is part of everything I do when I guide people too, is like, what part is suffering? Which part of us internally is the one suffering? And which part is the one that's aware of that suffering? And so that would be more like that avian perspective, that higher perspective, or like the, you know, it's the Native Americans talk about the eagle and how it has this high vision. And it's the eagle's often associated with aliens as like these beings with this other perspective, otherworldly perspective. So that's what I'm getting is just to remind everyone, like, that the one who suffers is not who you are. The one you witness suffering and feel the suffering is not who they are either. And yet it's important that we acknowledge that, but not get caught up in it. And because they're saying it, they're kind of showing there's like more of that coming in. And it's really inviting us to connect to our spirit, connect to that higher perspective versus succumbing to the influences and impulses from the lower. It's not even lower, it's just like the ego and the part that's been programmed and fears the destruction of the body or fears the suffering and therefore is in suffering. Let me pull a couple of cards. Yeah. Okay, so that's this my least favorite card, the Nine of Swords. This is literally what I was talking about. Is, you know, we're in suffering when we believe we're suffering, and that's what the swords represent, is the thoughts. And this, I used to pull this card all the time, like about 20 years ago when I was first learning tarot, and I do my 24-hour spread. And I was in a place of, like I said, trying to figure out life and relationships and everything through the mental body, through the mind, having plans, contingencies, strategies, and it not working because I wasn't in my heart. And that's what I see with this is when all those thoughts, ideas, the past, the things that come to visit, especially in the middle of the night where we wake up and the mind's just racing. And I had this just this morning. Like, I'm always really honest with people, and this is why I'm good at what I do, because I know how to snap out of that looping mental body of suicidal ideation, of addiction. I've had to overcome all that in my own life. And so now it's easier to navigate, but there's always a little bit that lingers. And so for me, in the middle of the night when this happens, I have to actually get up, move around, I meditate or I read for a while, and then I just go back to bed. But what will often happen is if we stay in that looping, it's a blinder where we start to believe that's who we are. And some people are in this because they haven't had a full awakening. They haven't experienced the thought while having the thought, you know, they're aware, they have that higher awareness. And so when we wake up from that, there's this opportunity to step away. Because right after that, I got the Magician, but reversed. And this is like when we're working with from this place of the mental body and stress and worry and concern, we're not able to create and manifest in the way we want. And it often winds up being detrimental. And that's why it's, you got the wheel reversed as well, is really, I would see this as a warning or a reminder that it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what happened before. Your suffering is because you still believe it to be true. And it doesn't mean you should bypass this or stuff it down or pretend like it doesn't exist or be brutal with that part, but to remember that is not who you really are. That is not really what's going to move you beyond the wheel, beyond the karmic cycles. It's really going to be about, as I always say, lovingly acknowledging it, but holding that higher perspective. And so that's what we'll do with the meditation too, is working with not only the breath, because to me, that's the most powerful connection, but also the heart and the actual physical heart. And you actually touch the heart and breathe into that space and play with whatever's there. And then often you'll pop out of it. And this is something I play with too when I'm out in public, when I'm hyper vigilant and I'm noticing and feeling and I'm sensing things psychically and I'm breathing and calming down. And then when I remember to come into my heart, then it changes and I forget all that's even happening. And I'm just in the moment and I'm living my life. So that's what we want to do with the meditation today, is to go to that space. And I'm going to pull one more card. I want you to pull one more. And this is the other least favorite card. The Five of Pentacles, and reversed. And I'm reading this as, and this is what happened for me is, I love what I do and I've helped a lot of people, but it's not going the way I'd wanted it to. Like my business isn't thriving the way I wanted. I don't have as many clients as I thought I would. I'm not doing as many speaking opportunities, and things that I've tried haven't really like popped off. And I'm like, what the hell? So I was going to give up, but I'm not going to give up, but I'm adapting and I'm going to change and do something different. Because this is like when we're feeling stuck, when we're feeling uninspired, when we're upset, it's like important to get out and do something different. You got to break up that stagnant energy. And especially with that Wheel of Fortune reversed. And this is what was coming through with the last two new moons. One was in Leo, was like, what is it you want to do? What lights you up? What's your fire? And I'm like, well, I'm doing that. And then with the new moon in Virgo, it was like, okay, well, let's refine this and let's be logical and rational about this. How can you do it in a way that's going to be able to take you further than what you're currently doing? Because whatever is happening right now isn't quite the right recipe or whatever. There's more to learn, or there's more to a different environment to go into. And so that's when I was like, okay, I'll reach out and do this therapy thing again. And so that's an example in my own life. So in your personal life, it would be, what is it you have been really inspired to do and to bring to the world and to share? And that really got lit up around the Lionsgate and shortly there, or actually I think it was before Lionsgate, around there, when we had a Leo energy. And then later it was like, okay, I got to pivot and adapt. And so what came through with that, and this would often be something that would feel like you let go of something in order to attain something over the long term. It's like, are you willing to forego this level of freedom? Like me, I won't be able to travel as much now. I'll have to be more staying put in a certain area, but it's over the long term, it could pay off. So it's, you can look at that in your life. Like, what is it, okay, that I could step into, or I did, that was like, felt limiting, feels limiting, but I know it's actually going to bring me even more joy and abundance later. All right, so, and we'll get into the meditation now. If everyone wants to find a comfortable spot, you want to sit down or lay down, whatever works best for you. Just connect with the breath, connect with the body, relaxing the mind. Just notice in this moment, the first thing that comes into your awareness. Maybe that's a sensation in the body. Maybe that's something you forgot to do. And if it's something in that case, just make a deal with your mind to remind you after this meditation, this is truly important. I need to do this task, or please remind me of this thing that I feel so important right now. So we're just going to go about 15 minutes, just allowing ourselves to take this space, this sacred time, to just tune in to the divine, to who we are, who we truly are. Or when we remember that while here in this illusion, in this game, in this role, in this dance of life, all becomes more easily navigated, more easily controlled in a way, not from domination or aggression, but from passion and presence. So come back to that breath again, feeling the breath come in through the nose, out through the mouth, all the way down to the feet, to the toes. The breath comes in, put the shoulders back a little more as you breathe in, allowing that expansion. And let it go. Next inhale, I want you to tighten your fists, curl the toes a little, and then let that go. Let go of the hands and the toes as you breathe out. Give yourself a little gentle shake, movement, allowing that energy to release more fully. Staying with the breath. And draw your attention up to the eyes, to the eyebrows, relaxing the brow, relaxing the ears, relaxing the jaw, allowing the throat to relax, and the shoulders gently come into rest. Next inhale, expand the chest a little bit, keeping those shoulders relaxed, and then exhale. Do a little yawn, a little more movement if you like. Or as we take this time, as we take this space, as we tune in, there's an opportunity to lovingly acknowledge the body with your consciousness, with the breath. You don't really need a chiropractor. You can just breathe and notice, and breathe right to that spot. It feels a little out of alignment or tense or tight. Just use that breath to bring some energy, some love, some support. And then let go of needing it to change or do anything, knowing that as you do this with each breath, each focused awareness, it allows for more of a shift and transformation in whatever way is most beneficial. Or feeling the belly, actually putting your hands on your belly, lovingly acknowledging the safety, the support, the comfort that you have in this moment, to just surrender and be here in this moment. Nothing to rush off and do, even if there's sounds around you or things happening in the world. Right now, you can just breathe and feel that safety with your hands protecting this vital, tender area. Lovingly acknowledging it. Now each breath expands, contracts. Try a couple nose breaths in through the nose, out through the nose with the belly. Allowing a little bit of pressure, a little bit of movement. As you expand, not forcing. Actually massaging the stomach, the intestines, small intestines, large intestine, the liver, the pancreas, the spleen, all these organs around this area. Allowing them to settle. As you focus on this belly breath, bring a slight smile, really embracing if you are safe, you are supported. With this smile, brings a relaxation to the kidneys, the adrenals, that work so hard to keep us moving, keep us active. And as you do this, you should always be feeling your feet, feeling that rooted, grounded connection you have to the earth. Even if your feet aren't touching it, they are connected. Remembering that feeling, standing tall and strong, like a tree blowing in the wind. It moves and sways. It's always rooted, always grounded, always supported. Feel how you can actually grow those roots deeper with the presence, with the awareness, with the breath, with each exhale, allowing yourself to root and ground deeper into the earth, relaxing the toes. And in this moment, I invite you to find your heartbeat. Just listen, feel for your heart beating. Use that smile to help you get there. Lighting up the chest, connecting with the heart. But always you are breathing, always your heart is beating. The life in every breath, a blessing with every heartbeat. These are the secrets to life. The breath of spirit, heart of the soul, of the passion, of the fire, of the desire to live and experience. It's always this dance of the ethereal and the physical, literally blending, merging, mixing, and coursing all through the body in the form of blood, in the form of energy, and the release of hormones, and the change and transformation of the body in every minute of every second. The body changes and transforms. So to optimize that health, optimize that transformation into liberation, into passion, into purpose, into presence. One needs only breathe, feel the heartbeat, remember that smile, and allow that energy to flow through the whole body. This is the power of the consciousness. For as that energy flows through the body, there's an awareness of the body, of the manifestation, that it is light traveling through DNA, creating this physical form. And as you breathe, you bring in more of that light. As you bring presence and love, you can transform that DNA. So the actual hologram of the body can transform and change. Doesn't matter what you've been diagnosed with, what runs in your family. This breath, this presence can help transform it all. So notice in this moment what's being revealed. Really feel for the sensation. Maybe a vision comes or a thought, and that's valuable as well. And then breathe and feel and notice what's playing out in your body, what's being revealed. Then we're going to take 2 fingers and place them pointing on the physical heart. So as if you're trying to touch the heart, trying to poke into the heart, putting some pressure, and breathe into that heart, and just keep breathing, feeling that pressure on the chest, pointing right towards the heart, the physical heart, helping you get more and more connected. Remembering that smile. Yes, the divine creator of all things, that which we are and are connected to, grant me greater connection to my heart, to love, to presence. Help me balance my ego mind, bring it into the divine mind. Help me connect to my physical heart, transforming it into the higher heart of awareness and intelligence. Grant me the strength and ability to see and move, manifest with grace and ease. The highest outcome, all involved. Please help me shift and transform all that I see within and around me into a place of neutrality and peace. Please allow me to feel, to lovingly acknowledge all that's transpiring, bringing the greater healing, while always remembering that which is fully healed, that which I truly am deep inside, deep in my heart, the spark of the divine, indestructible and invincible. See if you can see that spark in this moment. You can relax your hand and arm. Just breathe into that heart space. See if you can find that spark of the divine that exists within you now and always. Remember that smile. Once you find it, see if it has a color, see if it creates a shape. What's that light emanate? What's that light revealing? What message comes through? Maybe a symbol, an object. Just breathe, be with that awareness in this moment. Stay with your breath. The mind wanders, just bring it back with the breath, with the beating of the heart, the sensations in the body. Now is all that exists. Now reveals all timelines and dimensions. Now, whatever steps forward is the most important thing to lovingly acknowledge and breathe and feel the heart. And remember the spark of the divine that you are, revealing all this as an illusion, a valuable experience that blesses all of creation. For only you are living this life in this unique way. Lovingly acknowledge all the other versions, co-creating, coexisting these unique realities. knowing ours does not have to be like theirs. Theirs does not have to be like ours. And this is the shift to the new earth. We may come together as tribe, as community, as cultures, and yet each is individual. Each is unique, none better than the other, yet each is extremely valuable and important as the piece of the whole. None is less than, none is undesirable. And our free will choice to choose who we connect with, who we hang out with. Even now in this moment, feel that breath come in, let it go. If your mind goes to a person, a place, a situation, just allow the witnessing, the thought of that. And give power to the breath, give power to your physical body. Notice what sensation comes up as you think about that person, that situation. And just play with that sensation in the body, letting go of any label of it, judgment, even though that'll be there. Just be curious. Oh, that's interesting. And like sitting on a couch watching a TV, see yourself sitting and watching that. See yourself knowing, oh, this isn't really real. And yet I feel it, I experience it, and I acknowledge it. But I'm not in it. I'm not pulled by it. I can feel the pull. I understand why. But I can choose different. I can choose my highest timeline. I can choose to path cut that and show that way, even if there's no example. And others may follow or not. But I know I'm safe, I'm supported, and I'm loved, especially when I branch out and embrace that spark. It's a unique expression. And so now slowly come back once again to the awareness of the feet, feeling and wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, the hands a little, moving those around, rotating the wrists. Remembering that smile and the connection to the heart. And as we come back, I invite you to connect with an animal that you love, that you felt drawn to. Maybe this is a pet, maybe this is an amakua, a spirit animal, or just a beautiful animal you appreciate. And as you do that, whatever comes forward, see the uniqueness they are beyond the word, what it's called, or been described as. Just look with fresh eyes. How does this animal move? What is it thinking? What is it trying to tell me? Not an association or archetype, but as I witness, as I look, noticing the color, noticing the shape, noticing what it's doing in this moment. What is it telling me? What is it revealing to me in my life? if you don't see anything, that's fine as well. This may come later in a dream or in a meditation, or as we open this door to more connection to the spirit world, to the animals, to nature, we remember and embody more of what we knew long ago. How the animals befriended us, how the moon and the stars guided us, how the sun warmed and healed us. And the part that witnessed it all, rejoicing in the illusion that any of that even needed to happen. So when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Just look around your room, look around your space. So a little stretch. See what you notice in your space. Again, with that same practice. I'm like, oh, I really love that. Or the part that's like, oh, I forgot to put this away, or oh, this is just notice that too, and then look at something else. Coming back more and more fully present here now. And welcome back. So hope you all enjoyed that meditation. Hope the energy update was helpful. Like I said, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona till September 18th. I'll be at the Embody Your Journey Expo, or Embracing Your Journey Expo, this Saturday. My lecture is at 11 o'clock. I'll be doing tarot readings there. There's lectures all day, a lot of other great readers and healers and technology that's going to be there. And look forward to seeing you guys if you can make it, if you're in this area. And also I'll be doing an event at Om Fitness on the 11th. So that'll be a Thursday night. And this is a really great venue where it's a gym where you work out in these suits that are like have little electrodes on them, so that it activates your muscles while you're working out. So you get these slight little shocks. It doesn't really hurt, but it gives you this amazing workout in like 25 minutes that feels like you were at the gym for an hour, and do red light therapy afterwards. So I'm going to do an event there because I've been really enjoying working out at the gym and want to share what I do with them, with the breath and energy, sound healing. So that'll be the galactic breathing. And I have one on the new moon as well. So I'll be doing a new moon breath work every new moon. And the next one's at 10 a.m. Hawaiian time. So, and that's actually a Saturday. So hopefully more people can join that one. First one went really well, and I upgraded the sound, so it's going to be even better. And yeah, and I also offer spirit guidance mentoring. So if you're looking to embody more and connect with your higher self and regulate the nervous system, emotional stability during these chaotic times, there's a lot of tricks and things I've learned over the years that are super helpful. And it's nice to have someone like keep you on track with it. So that's what I offer as well. Hope you're all having an amazing day and have a great month. Keep loving yourself and remembering that divine spark that you are. Aloha.